Hi everyone, I'm going to be going over chapter 15, The Family. So, I am going to start off by explaining the diverse families that exist. We usually think of the family as like the nuclear family, so it's the mother, the father, and then the two children, and then a dog, and like a picket fenced lawn with a house, the whole movie scene that we see like all the time in the movies. But in reality, families are not always like that. For example, in Hispanic cultures, we tend to really appreciate the extended family a lot. So grandparents can still live with the parents and the grandchildren, and that is completely normal. And there is other examples of diverse families. There are like lesbian or gay or LGBTQ couples. So it can be two guys who adopt a child, or parents who are divorced, and they divorced because they found out that their sexuality, they came out and they really wanted to be happy, so the spouses would decide to separate, and then the children would have maybe two sets of moms or two sets of dads, or two dads and two moms because of the separation. Anything can really happen to explain like a family. You could adopt a child and just you adopting the child, and it will still be considered a family. Families just range in sizes, in many aspects. Sometimes families live in a really big house, and sometimes they live in an apartment, or they live in the like in a farm or in the city. It just really depends. So, more about the diverse family is hold on is that they just really don't conform to societal norms. So anything that you think is family could be family. For example, some people have friends and they consider their friends their family because they are that close to each other. Or just two people are a family. Or maybe the family has dogs or cats or animals, and they consider them part of the family as well. So a family doesn't have to only be limited to humans, and it could really change. So families change over time as well. So your family when you were younger and to when you grow up as a young adult and into adulthood changes drastically as well. So you like leave to college. So if you, for example, my parents would just be alone when I left to college. So then we were still a family, but the familial unit that is seen mainly every day gets a little bit smaller because they see each other only and they don't see me as much. Or families grow, so over time as you're growing older, maybe you get more siblings, maybe you get cousins, other family members who come to live with you. Really anything goes for families, and that's amazing because we really shouldn't limit ourselves to what our definition of family is, because as long as we care for each other and we're there for each other, I feel like that is what family means. My family, we argue all the time, but we're still always there for each other when we need to. I will also be going over sibling relationships because siblings are part of your family, and as you have relationships with like a partner, you also have relationships with friends, with family, and your siblings. So if you are an only child, your sibling relationship is not there. So when you're young, like really young, you don't have as much interaction with other children as you could unless you are put into like programs or you play with neighborhood friends or you go to pre-K or other things like that. But children who do have siblings tend to look at their siblings a lot and tend to follow their guidance and try to be like them because they are essentially like your role models. So they teach, they give you experience, because when you see your sibling getting in trouble for something, you know not to do that. And the older sibling tends to be more towards like the mother's positive psychological functioning, which if they're older, they tend to take more like motherly roles, especially if it's a female sibling who is the like oldest one. They tend to like take over like when the mother's not there to take care of their siblings. And the youngest tends to be more rebellious. It's not always that way, but most of the time they do tend to be that rebellious. And the sibling relationship is the relationship that lasts the longest in our lives because we always have our siblings. So usually parents eventually pass away and they're no longer part of our lives, which is sad to think about, but sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes parents outlive their children, but most of the time the children outlive their parents, so you might not have them most of your life, and your partner or like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, the person who you spend your time with, you don't really meet until later on in life. So you don't know them all your life, but your siblings you've known since you or they were born. So I really liked this chapter about the family because most of it you sort of know, but it like refreshes yourself and makes you think of a different way to think of family and to try to, think like outside of the box and just, put everything into perspective, because we tend to have like a really fast-paced life, and sometimes we just need to like slow down and just be grateful for our family and just everyone around us. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.